Hey guys, so it's been a while now since I've done a video talking about spirituality, and I'm kind of feeling like I want to do one right now and talk a little bit about kind of what I've gone through the past couple of years and some of the reasons why I haven't done some videos, and I guess one of the reasons why I want to do one now. I used to be like really into spirituality, and it was like the focus of my life. It was my passion, it was what I loved to talk about, experience, dive into, and really explore in life, and I really enjoyed it. It was cool. It was one of the most powerful, transformative, helpful, enjoyable, wonderful things. And they talk about how like this is a time of awakening, and all that, and yeah, it really seems to be true. There's a lot of people now who are like, seem to be getting this more and more, and they're having awakenings and realizations and experiences. It's a pretty cool time to be alive. But something I've been seeing over the past couple of years is like, even though spirituality is awesome, it's not necessarily always the point of life. It's almost like what I've been finding lately is the people who I like to spend time around typically are people who have some sort of awareness of spirituality, whether they've gone through some path, some journey, they've done some tradition, or they're just naturally like really loving people just where they are in their own evolution. They're people who have a really deep understanding of spirituality, but don't necessarily have to talk about it all the time. They're just awesome human beings, and they're a blast to be around. And it's like spirituality becomes a certain baseline where you have a certain capacity for having really good relationships, for communicating with people, for appreciating life, for loving yourself and loving other people, for handling obstacles, for just being able to walk through the world and saying, that's cool, that's amazing, that's wonderful, I don't like that, but here's another way that we can approach it, or here's a way that I can experience something that's not necessarily the greatest thing in the world, but I can approach it in a really cool way. And it's like, spirituality is a way to go through life. Sometimes like when you're really cultivating a lot of the internal stuff, the meditations, the taking the time to care about yourself, you're going through your own stuff that's going on. A lot of times you really need your alone time. You want to just really sit with yourself, sit in silence. And there's a time where it becomes the sole purpose of your life. Not to say that it should, obviously everybody's path is different. Some people become teachers, some people they're mechanics, they're whatever it is that they do. Spirituality transforms who you are as a person, and it changes the way that you actually live your life. And that seems to be one of the coolest things, is life itself becomes wonderful when you actually start seeing that everything is you. Everyone that you meet is you appearing as that person. And all of the seeings, the emotions, the realizations, the experiences, they come and go. They change, just like most anything in life. The feelings, the states of being, like all these things change. They're not what lasts. Like what you are, the I am, the awareness is witnessing, it's just here, and it always is, and it doesn't change. And that which isn't changing is appearing as everything that changes. And you start to see that, and it's just like, okay, cool. Now that you see that, let's go live your life. And that really seems to be what it's all about. I remember somebody asked Adyashanti once, what would happen if everybody in the world suddenly became enlightened? Would we have world peace? Would we sing and dance? Like, what would happen? And he's like, well, first I'd be out of a job. We wouldn't need like spiritual teachers guiding people to enlightenment, right? But then people would just go back to doing what they love to do. Whether you want to ride bikes or write books, if you want to hike, you want to drive cars, you want to paint, whatever it is that you want to do, you would just do what you want to do, and you wouldn't have to necessarily talk about spirituality unless that's really what you want to talk about. And you could say like, hey guys, we're all one, and we're like, well, we know. We're all in on it. We all get it. We all see it. You don't have to necessarily talk about it. Just like we all know that there's gravity here on the world, right? Be like, hey guys, there's gravity. And we're like, we know. It's the same level of like there's a certain baseline to life to where things like oneness and love are really appreciated, and they're seen to be so valuable, and they're just the underlying nature of what is. And an understanding of that, the way it starts to transform a person and change the way they go through life. So it's not like you don't have to talk about it, it's just there's an understanding of what we appreciate and what we celebrate and what life is an expression of. And it's revered, it's loved, it's enjoyed. But you don't necessarily have to talk about it all the time. And that's one of the things that I've been seeing. It's like, spirituality can be the focus of your life, but that doesn't mean you have to go off into like, a cave, right? The stereotypical cave. Like, I'm just going to leave life, I'm going to go to my ashram, and I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to get enlightened and all this cool stuff on the mountaintop. There's a certain sense of like, the spirituality as it changes you, it alters the way that you go through life. Your relationships are benefited as you evolve and grow. Higher quality relationships. You have a better relationship with yourself. Without getting into is there a self, no self, separate self, with all that. There's just a healthier way of experiencing life in the form of you, in the form of another person. More enjoyable and happier, certainly. But it's not like, all negativity in the world goes away. So I guess that's one of the things I've really been finding is like, it does benefit your life, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a big deal. It's a big deal, but you don't have to make a big deal about it, if that makes any sense. Like, it's amazing that we're here alive, and it's wonderful, and it's to be appreciated, and it's to be revered. It's such a gift, right? And now that you have this gift of life, experience it on the most loving way, in the most enjoyable way, peaceful, exciting, whatever it is that really speaks to you. You have the freedom to go experience your life in that way. And that's the thing, it's like really enjoying the gift of life. And spirituality really aids and assists in really enjoying your life. And that's one thing that I've found to be really wonderful about this whole experience, and something that I'm really grateful for, is it's improved the quality of my life, and for that I'm really grateful. My own relationships have gotten better, my experience with myself has gotten better, and yeah, there's experiences and awakenings and changes and all that stuff too, and it's all part of it, it's all part of it. Being able to like really enjoy your life without so much of the stress and the anxiety and the worries, and really coming to cultivate a sense of peace, like naturally, becomes a lot simpler. I wish I could say that it solves all of life problems and now everything is sunshine and roses, but that's really not the case. It just helps kind of reorient you so that you have a different approach to life. The way that you approach things like fear and anger and judgment and pain and suffering and all the bad things in life are perceived in a different way. It's like finding ways to love and appreciate other people even when they're in the midst of their own stuff, right? Without asking them to change, without requiring them to change so that you can feel better or so that they can be more evolved. It's like just being able to love and appreciate people and support them, care about them. To love yourself in the midst of the heat of the battle, right? I'm really grateful for this whole experience. Everything from start to finish, the highs and the lows, and I know since, feeling good right now, it's easy to say, thank goodness for the lows, but when you're in it, you're like, this sucks, right? And I get that too, of course. That's like how this whole game works. It can definitely suck you in and feel so real, and that's one of the cool things. It is a very effective experience. And it would have to be in order for this to be like experienced as if it's real, right? Call it illusion or what, but it does a good job. It's a really effective experience. And I'm really grateful for the simplicity in life. Everything becomes pretty simple, you know? And you can study complexity and technology and all this wonderful stuff too. I love it. I love it. And it's just coming from a place of simplicity. So yeah, I'm really grateful for the spiritual journey. There's not an end. There's always new experiences, new ahas. There's more, just like in life, you know? More breaths to take, more experiences to have during life, after the body dies. There's always more to experience right here. And it's really wonderful. It's really nice finding great ways of just going through life. You know, as long as we're here on this journey together, walking the paths by ourselves, whatever form the journey is taking in the moment, to be able to do it in a way that's really enjoyable, that's effective, that's conducive to health and well-being and satisfaction and fulfillment. You know? Living life in a way that really satisfies the soul, that is an expression of your soul, of your heart, of the part of you that just feels like, this is me, this is what I want, this is why I'm here, this is what matters. And having a sense of that and living from that space, that to me feels like it's really grounded. It's very practical, you know, it's very integrated. It's some of the benefits of meditation, of spiritual experiences, of taking the time to question your thoughts and love yourself and do a lot of the practices that we've done over the years, improving the quality of your life and making everyday ordinary life a special experience. You know, not taking it for granted, but really appreciating life, feeling the love and the joy. Life is an expression of your spirituality. You can talk about it and you can not talk about it. It can be the focus of your life, or it can be the basis, the foundation of the life that you don't necessarily talk about, but it's always here. Just like awareness, right? Always here. You don't have to talk about it, but like right here. So that's kind of where I've been at the past couple of years, is like really diving into the experience of life and getting away from the need to talk about it without being resistant to talk about it, right? Not to say I'm experiencing life, but I'm not going to talk about spirituality. I'm not, the swing from being like super into spirituality to like, whoosh, I don't even want to talk about it at all. And then finding a balance to where you can live it in whatever form that takes. It's like, I get the sense that you have a deep understanding of spirituality. It's like, of course. Of course. Hi. And if you want to talk about it, talk about lunch, pet a dog, go for a walk, make YouTube videos, watch whatever on Netflix. I've been watching episodes of The Office lately, you know, appreciating just how silly life can be. Life itself, living life from however you want to call it. You want to call it more awake, more aware, more loving, more one, more clear. However you want to describe it, more effective way of living life. It's like where spirituality is leading us to. Whether that path involves different practices or meditating, taking time to just love yourself. I love you. I love you. Complimenting other people. Doing what you love. Honoring yourself. Whatever it is that you're doing, you know. Counting mala beads. It just leaves you with such a sense of appreciation for life. You can go out and do incredible things in this world and serve millions of people. You can sit quietly in your own room, doing nothing that benefits the world and makes money and brings you worldly success, right? And like being able to just live life in a way that feels so good. To enjoy the journey. To not be searching anymore for enlightenment, for more love, for the next adrenaline pumping experience, and just finally finding the peace and the satisfaction and the love that we've spent so much time looking for in whatever form. And it's not that it was ever missing, but just coming to terms with who you are, which brings the satisfaction and the fulfillment and the love, and it's like expressed out into the world and it's experienced within you. Life is spirituality in action. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this whole experience. I'm grateful to have you here watching this, to be able to speak to you, for you holding the space for me to speak and have the experience of speaking. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for myself, and I'm grateful for this camera that I'm looking at and the little dot in the center of the lens. Just thank you. Thank you so much.